64 yards, leaps into the end zone. 29-6 Bridgeport. And the D was swarming. Ryan Greer scored Barnsville's only touchdown of the night. It was the first touchdown surrendered by Bridgeport this season. Stuffed in the backfield by Boder, Omar Foston, and a host of dogs. Fourth quarter, Widmore not done. 8-yard touchdown, 207 yards, and 3 T's for Whitty. He's 1,010 for the season, his second straight 1,000-yard season. You have to go back to 1979 to find the last 1,000-yard rusher for Bridgeport, and that's the current head coach, Rick Goodrich. The Dogs roll 36-6. They're 5-0. Unbeaten Big Red of Bel Air hosting 0-4 Cambridge.
Food and Drug, CA House Music, East End Garage, Belmont Savings Bank, and Belmont Harrison Career Center.
Davis, corner, Timberlake, he has it. We're going to a second overtime.
Oh, great catch, Bobby.
The Ohio Valley sports leader, WTOV 9, presents the best in high school football. The OVAC WTOV 9 High School Football Game of the Week.
From Perkins Field in Brookside, it's a special Saturday night edition of the WTOV 9 High School Football Game of the Week. The Bridgeport Bulldogs, with a record of 4-0, host the Barnsville Shamrocks. They are 3-1. Hello again, everybody. This is George Kellis, along with Coach Rich Walensky. They haven't had this much fun in Bridgeport probably since Havlicek was a quarterback over here, and they got one whale of a football team.
I'll tell you, George, they sure do. They've just rolled through their first 4 games of the season. As a matter of fact, you mentioned to me that Brian Widmore may rush for 1,000 yards in only the 5th game of the season. And, of course, Barnsville is going to be a pretty good opponent for them tonight. After losing their opening game to John Glenn, they've reeled off 3 straight victories. So we look for a real good football game tonight.
Yep, Bridgeport has outscored its opponents 193-0 in its first 4 games. We'll see if the Shamrocks can do something about that when we return for the opening kickoff.
East
The Athletic Conference as it begins its 53rd year of interscholastic competition. The OVAC has helped to stimulate and promote a lucrative program of competitive high school athletics in the Upper Ohio Valley. In fact, the OVAC is the largest and most functional high school conference of its kind in the United States. The Ohio Valley Athletic Conference promises to continue the promotion of all high school athletics. The OVAC, serving the youth of the Ohio Valley. Watch number 1 News 9 live at 5, the Ohio Valley's only newscast at 5 p.m. with Jim Forbes, Kelly Townsend, and meteorologist Kevin Carter's exclusive forecast.
All righty, Barnsville in the white uniforms will kick off to Bridgeport, which is wearing the dark uniform. Steve Harris has it teed up, and he kicks it short, and it's taken by Baker. And there's a flag down, and Baker is to the 35-yard line. It's difficult to get a real good idea where the football is on this field because they do not mark the field itself. So you find yourself looking across for the markings on the sideline and then going 25, 30, 35, and so on. And here is another look at that kick return. They obviously did not want to put it in certain people's hands, but this guy's not bad.
Give it a little squib kick, and I think that was the call right there, George. I think I'm going to call a clip, and it is a 15-yard penalty. Saw it right there in the corner of the screen, and so Bridgeport will take over on their own 15-yard line. 1st and 10.
And we will get to see this juggernaut of a wishbone offense, which features Chad Roskovich at quarterback, Baker, who you saw in the kick return right there, along with Bryans, Widmore, and Boder. And on first down, Boder, the fullback, A 250-pounder plows ahead for about 5 yards, and there's nothing really tricky or pretty about the way they do this. It's just very effective. Roskovich, Boder, Whitmore, and Baker are the setbacks. Nick Whitmore and Buddy Ellerick will be in the pass patterns. Steve Mullen, Jim Fisher, Kevin Bugай, Mike Piketty, Jason Miles, the guys in the trenches. That's Baker, the right halfback in the formation, and he gets about 3 more. It'll be a 3rd down and 2. Whitmore came into the game with 803 yards. He has 15 touchdowns, leads the Valley in rushing and scoring. We'll be talking a lot more about him. Tim Hans, Tim Groves, Josh Lusk, Tony Greer up front for the Shamrocks defensively. Dustin Wilson, J.W. Palmer, T.J. Welch, Travis Wilson in the secondary. Nick Meyer, Craig Wells, and Ryan Greer. 3rd down. I don't think Whitmore got the 1st down.
But it all depends on the spot, George. You know, if he gets an adequate spot, he might make it. He had to nudge it over the 25, and they are going to go ahead and give it to him as a 1st down.
So indeed, he does break the plane of the 25-yard line, but you can see that's awfully close right there.
Sure was.
So Barnsville does a pretty decent job right here, but Bridgeport manages to get 10 yards on 3 carries nonetheless. They go into an I formation right here. That is Boder. He is a human steamroller. 1st down. A gain of about 13 yards.
Yeah, look at those biceps. You know, you get in the weight room, you know, it's curls for the girls, but this guy is big all over. And, you know, George, we were here a couple years ago, did the Shadyside Bridgeport game when Bridgeport was 0-10 and Shadyside was struggling that year also. And most of these kids were sophomores at the time. And well, I tell you, they've really grown up and developed really a good football team.
Well, Rick Goodrich turned in an 8-2 in his rookie year as the head coach at his alma mater. Last year's Boder bouncing off a tackler. They haven't given it to Whitmore just yet, and Boder will fall forward for perhaps a yard.
Initial tackler for the Shamrocks. It'll bring up
He's up to about the 40-yard line.
From the Bulldogs, about to run 30.
But observers are fascinated at the development of this Bridgeport team in the offseason. We're talking about Boder here at 250 pounds, and I can guarantee you ain't much of that is excess. We're going to get Don Sloan involved in this thing. As you see, Whitmore gets his first carry, cuts it up to about the 45-yard line. Don Sloan, the Nacho Man on the sidelines. How'd he do?
Hey, George, how you doing? A big thing that's surprising to me, the weather's cleared up. It's a beautiful day this evening. After this afternoon at the Belair game where it just rained all day long, the fields are not too bad of a shape. The middle's a little wet, a little mushy, but all told, after all the rain today, it's not too bad.
Thanks, pal, and he's exactly right. I did walk down the middle of that field to talk to the respective coaches. The footing is not bad at all, particularly when you get to the grassy areas outside the dead middle of the field there. Up to about midfield is the ball carrier, and that's a 1st down for the Bridgeport Bulldogs.
You know, it looks like they're not doing anything with the ball at all, George, but they just, you know, constantly 5-6 yards at a time. That time they were in 3rd and 4, and I'm sure Coach Kavalik would like to keep them in a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 or 6. But I'll tell you, with those 2 big backs back there just pounding on you, you know, it's going to be difficult to keep them in a 3rd and long situation.
1st down at midfield. Boder blasts into the middle, and you had better get down real low when you were trying to make a tackle on that load.
I tell you, great trap block that time by the left guard for Bridgeport. I tell you, did a great job of coming off the ball and trapping from right to left. That's Kevin Bugay doing the trapping. Opened up a big hole right up the middle for Boder, and he was able to get it in the secondary for a big gain of 9, so it's going to bring up 2nd and 1.
Well, there are 2 terribly underrated aspects of this Bridgeport team. The offensive line's one. I'm going to talk more about that in a second. Here's Whitmore. He's got a 1st down. Look at these moves. Whitmore inside the 30 and down to the Shamrock 28-yard line. And There really is nothing fancy or particularly pretty about any of this stuff. It certainly is substance over style. As you see them just whacking people, you see the blockers out ahead, and Whitmore does not need much room, just a little. And the next thing you know, tacklers are slipping and a sliding. 1st and 10. Boder to the 25-yard line. That's all they need for a 3 or 4 yard gain. Josh Lusk on the tackle for the Barnsville Shamrocks. Here's something interesting you should know, Coach. Chad Roskovich, the Bridgeport quarterback, has thrown 5 passes this year in 4 ball games. 4 of those were touchdown passes.
Well, I tell you, with the running game they had to be play action, because you definitely have to honor this Bridgeport running game. It's awesome so far.
The pitch. Wow. Whitmore to the 20-yard line. Very close to another 1st down.
I tell you, I hope we have that on the replay, because I'd like our fans to see Mike Piketty coming from his right tackle position, pulling here. And I don't know if you're going to see it in the picture here, but he just levels the cornerback over there, and Whitmore's able to find some running room inside. Great job by number 55, Mike Piketty from Bridgeport.
This is Baker. Baker has the 1st down, and he's to about the Barnsville 14-yard line. And this is like almost like Chinese water torture. They just keep hacking away, and you can imagine the punishment that a defense will take by about the 4th quarter. And I'll tell you another thing. It's a very efficient offense if this team manages to go on and stay healthy and get a chance at the postseason, because in inclement conditions that you run into in November, this stuff works.
Just, it's a low-risk offense, and, not anything real fan. That's probably about the fanciest as you'll see anything. A fake to the fullback over the left side, and then a give to the tailback over the right side, and, a little counter action, but
it's worth 6 yards any way you look.
That's right.
And that was Whitmore. He is at the 9-yard line of Barnsville. The last time Bridgeport had a season to write home about was 1978. Dave Bruni was their head coach. He took the Ferry job the following year. There's a little bit of a fumble. Roskovich is going to be whirled down in the backfield, and he is grabbed by Steve Harris for a loss. Just what the doctor ordered for the Barnsville Shamrocks right here. Mishandling of a little slick football inside here. And the next thing you know, you have got tacklers back in there.
I tell you, it's 3rd and about, well, probably closer to 8th and 7. So, this is a big play for Barnsville's defense if they can hold right here.
Whitmore, and indeed, he is wrapped up at the 7-yard line.
That'll bring up a sprint option play over this way, and I'll tell you, Barnsville's defense really ran to the ball real well here. Good block by Boder on number 33. Forces it back inside. Number 33 for Barnsville did a good job. It's J.W. Palmer. Forced it back inside, and then that pursuit was able to catch up with it. So Coach Goodrich has a decision to make here. 4th down and about 5. And he's going to go ahead and go for it here.
And I hate to say that this is a telling moment in the game for Barnsville, but you don't like to be playing catch-up. Bridgeport's the kind of team, you want to get up a couple touchdowns on them and then let them figure something else out. Here's a pass. That is a touchdown. My goodness. Buddy Ellerick.
I'll tell you, he was wide open in the corner of the end zone. It came from, I'm not sure if he came from a wide-out position or from a tight end position. Here's a fake off that sprint draw. And Roskovich comes to the outside, and here's Ellerick in the corner, makes a nice catch, nice little footwork right there, making sure that he has 1 foot down. And they run it all the way down here, George, and then when the chips are down, they little play action, and another touchdown for Bridgeport.
Here is Marco Pizzoni. No good. So the Dogs will have to settle for 6. They came through on a big 4th down, and we see the scoreboard. It reads Bridgeport 6, Barnsville nothing. We'll be back.
Rob Birch's mother, Yerta, came to America as a young girl to build a new future. His dad, Robert Birch Sr., enlisted days after Pearl Harbor and served our nation his entire career. Rob Birch's values are our values: family, education, and for 12 years a state senator fighting to protect senior citizens and to cut taxes for working people. Newt Gingrich doesn't want Rob Birch in Congress next year. Sorry, Newt. We want a congressman who will fight for us for a change.
Considering a career in personal services, mechanics, or agriculture? Consider the Belmont and Harrison Career Centers. Learn cosmetology, business, technical, dental assisting, or carpentry. These opportunities await high school students at BHCC. The Belmont and Harrison Career Center salute the players, cheerleaders, band members, and coaches who all helped to make tonight's game great. Call BHCC today at 695-9130 or 942-2148.
A message to band parents. Since 1923, Toreros is the most trusted name in music. We've provided you with the most value for your money. Most of the instruments you see at halftime were purchased from us. Some stores south of here charge up to 21% more and do not provide student bill-based service. Toreros horns are also made by companies in Ohio without foreign names. So buy from the store that services you the best and even gives you some change in your pocket. Since 1923, Toreros, Steubenville's most trusted name in music.
The residents and staff of the Barnsville Healthcare Center would like to wish the Shamrocks good luck this football season.
Barnes Video Junction, your one-stop video and tanning shop. Catalog titles from 94 cents and 30 tanning sessions for 1 month for $30. Visit us today. Go Rocks.
Hi, I'm Mr. Food, and together with Hauser's Furniture and the News 9 team, we're cooking up something special on News 9 Sunrise and News 9 Midday, and oh, it's so good.
And we thank the Barnesville Shamrock fans for putting that nice sign up over there. The Shamrocks trail 6-0 at the present time, but their offense will get its first chance right here. Bridgeport leads 6-0. And Roskovich has got to have the highest quarterback rating in the history of the sport. Because, as I said, he's thrown 6 passes on the year, and 5 of them were touchdown passes. J.W. Palmer on the return for the Barnesville Shamrocks. And one of the problems you run into against Bridgeport is they are very strong, they are very physical, and now we're going to see an underrated aspect of their team, and that's this defense, which has not yielded a point just yet. Here is the Barnesville offensive starting unit. Maybe we better wait till after this play. I can tell you that the quarterback, number 8, Nick Meyer.
Myers up under the ball from the Shamrocks.
Barnesville starts from its own 34. And here's an opening. And Travis Brown for about 8 or 9.
Straight dive play over the right side, and Bridgeport was showing a stunt by their 2 inside linebackers, and he was able to pop that dive for real good positive yardage. Gain of just a little over 10 yards on their first play, so it's 1st and 10 near midfield.
Now the offense, Brown, as you see with Meyer, Ryan Greer, who's having a good year at tailback, Craig Wells, TJ Welch, and Steve Harris. And those are the skilled people. Here are the linemen, Tim Woolard, Dennis Morris, Tim Hans, Tony Greer, and Tim Groves. First down it is. And there's a big opening right here. And big yardage. Ryan Greer is in Bridgeport territory in a hurry to the 32-yard line.
Outside trap back to the split end side, George. They cut Bridgeport's defense over to the strength of their formation to the flanker side. Both inside linebackers coming again on a stunt. And I'll tell you right here, a little misdirection. And Greer showing some real good speed, busting in the secondary real quick.
Getting a timeout call and a flag down. Somebody is lined up in the neutral zone.
Number 2's on.
And
I think that's going to be on number 2, George, a defensive back for Bridgeport. That's Nick Whitmore, who is a cornerback for the Bulldogs. I think lined up in a neutral zone, playing real tight man-for-man coverage on the split end.
now here's an interesting defensive front. Ron Baker, Omar Foston, the 155-pound tackle, Paquetti, Fisher, and Moore.
It's a pitch wide to Greer.
Well, Greer is in trouble and loses yardage.
Jim Fisher was the initial.
Shall we proceed through that linebacking core there, fellas, if we could?
That's a loss of about 5 to 8 yards. It looks like it'll be about.
Well, I can tell you that the linebackers are Brian Boder and Chaz Melko. And then you have this secondary unit, Clint Cash, Nick Whitmore, Brian Whitmore, and Wayne McCracken.
Myers up under center.
A loss of 4, second down and 14. Barnsville at the Bridgeport 37. Ball on the ground. Barnsville recovers for an additional loss of yardage. Back to the 40-yard line, and now they are headed in the wrong direction. And you can see, Coach, that one thing Bridgeport likes to do is watch them. They bring people and they bring them into the gaps, and you see that there's not very many people in the secondary left if somebody slips through that front wall.
And that's what happened on the first 2 plays that Barnesville ran, George. They just popped it past the line of scrimmage and were able to get in the secondary real quick. But on the last 2 plays, they've just sort of self-destructed. They're in a real bad part of the field right now, too. So number 8, Nick Meyer has to make sure he gets a real good snap here.
Meyer rolls right, staggering, incomplete.
It's going to be a flag. It's going to be pass interference on number 13 for Bridgeport. It's a defensive back, Wayne McCracken, the free safety.
It'll be a
coverage on the flanker, Craig Wells, number 9.
It'll be a 15-yard mark-off. Hit as he throws. Meyer threw a nice ball down here, and you can see that the intended receiver was having some difficulties. It is a 15-yard penalty.
Will be 15 yards from the spot. It's going to bring up 3rd and about 3 for the
Not an automatic first down. It's 3rd down and 3.
From about the Bulldog 24.
That's a whole lot different scenario than 3rd and 18.
Well, I'll tell you, he's measuring, he's signaling, the referee is signaling automatic first down. But I'm not so sure it is. I think you're right, George. But he is signaling automatic first down.
So I am wrong. I think that's a rule that's been changed in recent years.
I think you're right, because normally in the past they'd have to make the sticks on the penalty. So you would have been right. It would have been 3rd and about 3.
1st and 10. Meyer, the pitch back to Greer. Greer lowers his head to the 20-yard line of the Bridgeport Bulldogs. The Dogs lead 6-0 as we send it down to the field. Don Sloan.
Well, guys, the Barnsville offense looking good. They've been helped out by a couple penalties, but they've been firing. Bridgeport's been firing their linebackers in, and Barnsville's been doing the quick hitters up the holes. But Ryan Greer, he's a speedster, a track star, one of the top hurdlers in the state of Ohio.
Myers again up under center.
Yeah, and this slick track is not going to be one that he's going to favor. Except right here, Barnsville got something humming. They're going to have a 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line as Travis Brown broke it for a gain of, well, let's see, the line of scrimmage was the 20, so he got a solid 16 or so out of this.
He's down inside the 5, and there it is, a little cross buck inside, and he's able to pop it again away from where that those stunts are coming. And number 13 in the secondary, that's Wayne McCracken, has to make the tackle. So this may, Barnsville is in a position to be the first team to score on Bridgeport this year.
It is a historic moment. No one scored against Bridgeport's defense during the summer.
The end of the first quarter, it's the Bulldogs.
No one has done it in the first quarter of this game yet either. We have played one in a very fast-paced, ground-oriented first period. It is Bridgeport 6, Barnsville on the move. We'll be right back.
WTOV 9's high school football game of the week, featuring Barnsville and Bridgeport, brought to you by Kroger Food and Drug, CA House Music, East End Garage, Belmont Savings Bank, and Belmont Harrison Career Center.
Belmont County Sheriff Tom McCourt wishes good luck to all the Barnsville Shamrocks and Bridgeport Bulldogs in tonight's game. Paid for by McCourt for Sheriff Committee, Pamela McCourt, Treasurer.
An all-new Ricky Lake.
He just won't leave. He won't leave.
I may have a U-Haul.
He came for a visit for a weekend, and he has never left.
But I'm not hauling you.
He expects me to take care of him like I'm his mother.
He's lived his life. I want to live my life.
He pays all the bills. You sure you want him to go?
I'm going to pack my bag, and I'm leaving, and you're not coming with me.
I want you out of my life. I'm moving. You're not. Next Ricky Lake.
Ricky Lake, Monday afternoon at 3 on WTOV 9.
Bridgeport Band Boosters would like to wish the football team and band members success all season long. Let's go all the way. Go Bulldogs! Bridgeport Quaker State, supplying families and businesses with all their home heating needs. Good luck to all of the OVAC high schools.
Bill's Towing is Bridgeport and St. Clairsville's only AAA provider. We are a complete auto repair center. Bill's Towing, new location, 309 Hall Street, Bridgeport. Go Bulldogs!
WTOV9 recognizes outstanding students at Barnsville High School. This week we salute Tim Miller, cross-country captain and National Honor Society president, Lori Miller, varsity track and varsity volleyball, Ryan Greer, varsity football and varsity track, Leah Stephen, varsity track and varsity cross-country, and Travis Brown, varsity football and varsity track. WTOV9 salutes all the students at Barnsville High School.
Is 6-0. And those guys have the lead.
It's first and goal inside the 5, George, for Barnsville.
Greer is very close to the goal line.
Yeah, that was a nice run by Ryan Greer. It was a blast play over the right side. That offensive right side of Barnsville's line was able to get a nice little push, cut down on the penetration, and right there, number 13 again, Kraken, had to make a touchdown saving tackle, so it's going to be second down from about the 1.
Interestingly enough, Bridgeport is not overwhelmingly big along its defensive front. I mentioned that Foston is a 155-pound tackle. Greer has a touchdown, and someone has finally scored against the Bridgeport defenders.
Okay, there's some big plays in that offensive drive by Barnsville. Some nice long runs by Greer and also by Travis Brown. Good blocking by that Barnsville offensive line, and some real good play calling also by the Barnsville coaching staff. And they were able to march about 65 yards for a score.
And Barnsville really needed to prove, as we look at this one more time, that they can match the muscle of the Bridgeport Bulldogs. You can get intimidated, and a few teams have already. This is going to be botched. The throw is going to be broken up down there, so we're going to wind up with a 6-6 ball game. The intended receiver ultimately was Brent Welch. So there is the telling moment here. 11:21 to go in the second period. We're tied at 6, Don Sloan.
And that could turn out to be a key play. Good defense on the 2-point conversion for Bridgeport. We're all tied up at 6. And fellas, the biggest thing that I've noticed with Barnesville on that offensive drive, Ryan Greer started last year in the backfield for the Shamrocks, but he was a track guy running in the backfield. He's developed an awful lot as a runner, and he's learning much better how to run with the football and to follow his blockers.
And his blockers did a pretty good job for him. And obviously, Barnesville came into this with a good game plan in how to attack that defensive scheme, because they were able to get some big openings, and their running backs had plenty of room to get them into scoring position. And once they got down in there, they were able to drive it home.
Right, and as long as Bridgeport's going to be sending those 2 inside linebackers all the time, George, and you know, Barnesville, as the game goes on, is going to be able to pick that up a little bit better and get those people blocked. That's even going to create more running room for Greer and for Brown. So you know, we'll see if Barnesville is going to make any adjustments blocking those 2 inside linebackers, and they keep going away from the strength of their formation back into the split end side, and that's what has really hurt Bridgeport so far. So we'll have to see if Bridgeport makes any adjustments to take care of that too.
You just saw a shot of Rick Goodrich, who was a star player on that 1978 team that I mentioned earlier. The last time Bridgeport won as many as 9 games in a season, and I think that the consensus is if they beat either Lindsley or Union Local, they'll have a pretty good shot of winning 9 games. And if they beat both of them and win this game, they certainly would have a shot at doing something not too many people do, but dare I mention a 10-0. That ain't easy stuff.
Well, Ted, sure isn't, especially when you're looking at, Union Local that's having really one of the best years they've had in a long, long time, and Lindsley having a stellar year so far, playing really good football. So, Bridgeport could have a real successful season, but they've got those 2 big hurdles yet ahead of them, including this Barnsville team that just tied up the ball game.
The kickoff, which went out of bounds, they put it at the 35. That'll be a 1st and 10 here for the Dogs. Nothing tricky, but Boder is met with some pretty serious opposition. And that's the first time I've seen him give ground this year. Tim Groves saw to that.
Number 72, Tim Groves, comes from his defensive left tackle position and gets some real good penetration. Boom. And I'll tell you, when have you ever seen this kid knock backwards?
That is like pushing a locomotive that's coming at you into reverse. Not an easy task. 2nd down and 10. Early moments of the 2nd period. George Kellis, Rich Walensky, and Don Sloan from Brookside. We're tied at 6. Widmore with all the moves up the middle, still breaking tackles. Widmore! Oh my goodness! 65 yards! And that, ladies and gentlemen, was like trying to tackle a telephone pole.
George, when he was a sophomore, we were down here. I really like this kid because he was so shifty, not very big at that time. But even though he's gotten bigger, he's about 195 now, probably close to 200. He still has not lost that shiftiness that he has, that inability to break tackles, and he just does an excellent job here and goes the distance. 65 yards for a touchdown, and a lot of it was on his own.
Roskovich is up under center.
Bridgeport's going to go for 2.
Just like that, it's 12-6. Roskovich, option, keeps. That's a 2-point conversion. Chad Roskovich and the Dogs lead 14-6. 2 plays. Boder was stuffed on 1st down. Widmore was gone on 2nd down. Keep in mind again that Widmore came in here with 803. We know that he has at least 870 right now. Another 100 yards or so, we'll be eyeing 1,000 for the season, and we haven't reached a midway point in the 96 campaign, Don.
Well, George, there were half a dozen Barnsville players that had a shot at Brian Widmore in that play, but they kept losing their footing, didn't get a good shot at him. But I'll tell you what, Widmore, great moves and a great job cutting back across the field. Widmore and Boder, not only do they have the size, but they have the speed and the moves.
You could say that again.
I'll tell you, there was a great block initially thrown by Boder there to break Widmore into at least into the secondary. Watch it right here, George. Here's the 2-point conversion, belly fake to Boder, and then you have to honor Widmore on the pitch, and that opened up a nice running lane for Roskovich to take it in for the 2-point conversion.
How often at the Division VI level do you ever see, and there you get a look at Roskovich, do you ever see a 195-pound running back with those kinds of skills and a 250-pound blocking back who is that solid? We're talking the Division VI level here, and you've got, what, 400 pounds, 400 and some odd pounds of solid iron coming at you. What is it, T.J. Welch on the return? Barnsville will try to strike back.
Years ago, George, back during the war years, West Point had Mr. Inside and Mr. Outside, Doc Blanchard and Glenn Davis. You have the same thing here with Bridgeport, Mr. Inside with Boder and Mr. Outside with Widmore. And then when the ball changes hands, you got both of them playing as inside linebackers.
First and 10, Barnsville from its own 27-yard line, and that's Major League right there. Mike Piketty administers a rude awakening.
Okay, here it is right there, and they're trying to set him up a little bit to get him on a turnout block, but Mike Piketty takes an inside move and is able to catch up with Greer from the backside, throwing for a loss of about 4. It's going to bring up second and about 14.
There you see a shot of Piketty, a 5'10", 235-pound two-way tackle. Meyer gets the pass away. It's incomplete. That would have got them just across the original line of scrimmage, which was the 27-yard line. Now they have 3rd and 14 at their own 23.
Number 3, Omar Foston, was in there like a shot. Here he comes. Right there from defensive end position. He's there real quick, and somebody else, I didn't get the number, coming from the outside, put a lot of heat on Nick Meyer, the quarterback from Barnsville. 3rd and 14.
This is not what either one of these offenses likes to have to do, and that's face 3rd and a whole bunch of yardage. Meyer steps up, throws incomplete.
Okay, you had a couple guys open. Number 9 was open on a curl. That's Craig Wells. Wells at number 23 running an out pattern. Zach Clift was also open along the Bridgeport sideline, but Meyer was under some duress and had to get rid of the ball as quickly as he could because there was an outside stunt coming from number 5, Brian Boder.
Bridgeport figures to get some pretty good field position. They lead 14-6 here in the second quarter. The Dogs are 4-0, and the Rocks are, in fact, 3-1.
He gets the kickoff.
The punt by Craig Campbell.
Good.
And good downfield coverage right there. Brent Welch made the hit. The Bulldogs at about midfield, 1st and 10.
That's a great open field tackle and good coverage by number 16. We'll follow him over to the sideline. Brent Welch had some real good coverage with the special team. Not a bad kick by number 10, Craig Campbell, and good coverage. Watch it right here. Boom. Nice tackle by number 16, Brent Welch, for the Barnsville Shamrocks. 1st and 10 at midfield for Bridgeport. Now they break their formation there in twins.
Boder this time, ahead for 5.
Tackle by number 60 that time, Josh Lesk, defensive end for Barnsville.
Don Sloan.
Well, George, this is a key possession defensively for the Shamrocks because their offense isn't going to be able to keep up with the Bridgeport score for score tonight, so they're going to have to come up big here. And watch out for Chad Roskovich to Brian Kesterson. They've been a pretty deadly combination so far this season.
2nd down and 5 at the Shamrock 40.
See if they sprint out that way. No, little inside belly.
Whitmore, 1st down. Whitmore to the 38-yard line of the Barnsville Shamrocks. And for 2 years now, Coach, opposing teams have had their defenses playing 8 and 9 men on the line of scrimmage, defying Bridgeport to throw the football, and the Bulldogs just keep running it. They are just blowing people away with this punishing running attack.
I tell you, it's really a very well-designed offense because it takes advantage of the people that they have in that offensive backfield. Whitmore on a power-off tackle to the right side out of a double tight end wishbone formation with both backs leading over the right side, and gets a positive yardage of about 4, so it'll bring up 2nd and 6.
The thing is, as Chuck Knoll used to say, he loved the running game, and obviously so did Vince Lombardi, because their theory is that you impose your will on the opposition, and when you just keep pushing a defense back on very fundamental and basic plays for 4 or 5 yards a clip, it gets a little bit disturbing after a while. There you see Boder. It looks like he's not going anywhere, but he still manages to keep churning those big big thighs for about 3 yards.
When you try to tackle him up around the numbers, I mean, he's just going to carry you forward because it's almost impossible to tackle him that way. Watch right here what happens. They meet him about 4 yards upfield, and he just carries those tacklers with him for an additional 4 yards.
3rd down and 2. Ball at the 31-yard line of Barnsville. Baker gets the call. He has a 1st down to the 31, a gain of 5.
T.J. Welch, the outside linebacker, had to come in and make the tackle. They lined up that time in a 5-3 defense. They put a man on the center's nose and had a stunt with the inside linebacker. Linebacker went to his right, away from where the ball was coming, and forced the outside linebacker, number 14, T.J. Welch, to make the tackle on number 40. That's Baker.
1st down, Bridgeport. They lead 14-6 here in the 2nd quarter. The quick pitch to Widmore. Widmore cuts it inside and carries tacklers ahead for another 1st down inside the 15-yard line.
Jason Miles, the offensive left tackle, good block. It's a quick flip to the left side with Brian Widmore, the left halfback, carrying. That's where the end tries to hook the defensive end. The tackle pulls and kicks out the wide defender here. There's a good block right there on number 26, the contain man. And Widmore does a nice job keeping his balance, moving to the inside, and getting some real positive yardage. Another 1st down inside the 15.
And you saw right there, as soon as he put on the initial move, 3 defenders fell down.
Right.
And he slipped right by all of them. Boder, the up back, not much there.
I tell you, good play that time by number 72, Tim Groves from Barnsville. That time they're trying to run a little inside trap with Boder trapping from left to right. And Groves made some real nice penetration, stopped Boder for a no gain, but that's exactly what they did the last time, and Widmore ripped one off for 65 yards on the next play. Here it is right here, and boom, good play by number 72 for Barnsville.
Groves at 5'10", 235, big enough and tough enough to take on Brian Boder. And that is Baker on the carry. Baker is inside the 10-yard line.
It's a pick of about 6, George. It's going to be 3rd and 4. Here it is. It's a power play over the left side. Good block right there. The lead blocker, Brian Widmore, slipped as he was coming out of his stance, and that left some defenders on that side unblocked, able to come up and make the tackle, but not until a 6-yard gain, bringing up 3rd and 4 inside the 10.
Roskovich and the Dogs. Boder to about the 5-yard line. He should be real close to the 1st down.
He's going to have to get just inside the 5, and if they're spotting it the way I see it on the 5-yard line, it's going to be 4th and short.
Bridgeport 14, Barnsville 6. George Kellis, Rich Walensky, and Don Sloan as we view it here at Perkins Field in Brookside. Bridgeport going for its 5th in a row. They would move up in the computer standings this week and position themselves pretty good position at the midway point in the season. You see Baker gets the 1st down to the 2.
Had he not stumbled there, George, I think he would have gone in because there were no defenders there to make the tackle. He just stumbled over somebody. Good blocking right there. You can see Ellerick gets a good block down to the inside. Good lead block by number 4, Widmore. And Baker is able to carry it over the 1st down marker for 1st down near the goal line. It's going to be 1st and goal from about the 2.
There are a lot of years when Baker would have been the featured back in this offense, and probably would be for a lot of teams, but they've got a busload back there, one of which is Widmore. He's very close. He had 15 touchdowns coming in, and he's added 1 to that here in the 2nd quarter. He leads the Valley in rushing, touchdowns, scoring. He had 1,800 yards last year, and combined with Boder for 2,800 between them.
And his average was unbelievable last year, George, almost 8 yards per carry.
Well, it's 10 this year, so that's
even more unbelievable.
Yep. Boder He has the score. And the Dogs have 20. The Shamrocks have 6. At this level, you're down inside the 5-yard line. You better be bringing some heavy artillery if you're going to stop this outfit.
Well, I tell you, George, there's just not a whole heck of a lot more that you can do than put 11 men up there near the line of scrimmage. And when they get that close, it's really very, very difficult because all 3 of those backs are capable of scoring from in close. Good, good inside move right there by the kids from Barnsville, but just, it's just too close.
The kick by Marco Pizzoni is good, and we have a 21-6 Bridgeport lead in the second quarter. Back in a minute.
At Belmont Savings Bank, we're the people you can count on. We can help you buy that new home, a new car, make home improvements, consolidate your bills, or take a vacation. Whatever your need, you can count on the friendly folks at Belmont Savings Bank in Bel Air, St. Clairsville, Barnsville, and Powhatan.
Belmont Savings Bank, we can share the dream.
East End Garage in Barnsville has been owned and operated by the Gallagher family since 1948. Quality 5-star service backed by their impeccable reputation has kept them in business for 48 years, and they're still going strong. So for a great deal with no high-pressure sales on a new Chrysler, Plymouth, or Dodge, see the family that you've known and trusted for years. East End Garage in Barnsville, because reputation is everything.
Sally wants to be a surgeon when she grows up. Maybe someday she'll operate on you. Now, would you like this free booklet of simple ways you can help improve her education? Call 1-800-96-PROMISE. Billy wants to work on airplanes someday, maybe one that you fly in. Now, would you like to call for this free booklet of simple ways to improve his education? Tommy wants to design bridges when he grows up. Maybe he'll design one that you'll use. Now, would you like this free booklet of simple ways you can help improve his education? Call 1-800-96-PROMISE.
It's unfair to set easy goals for our kids because succeeding in the real world isn't easy. Help the effort to raise standards in America's public schools. Call 1-800-96-PROMISE.
And that is some of the best popcorn in the valley right there. Take my word for it. I make it a priority to get popcorn when I come to Perkins Field.
And there's the popcorn poppers.
Why are you taping the popcorn?
That's true. They pop it right down there on the field so the players can run over for a gulp. Here comes Greer. Greer with a big opening. Greer on the move. And Greer is almost back out to midfield. And Barnsville is still breathing.
I tell you, that was a great kickoff by number 35 for Bridgeport. That's Derek Doty. He's listed as number 82 in the program, but he's wearing number 35 tonight. And I'll tell you, he kicked it down to about the 5-yard line. But number 7, as you can see right there, has great speed. Ryan Greer fields the ball and finds a little lane in there and shows some of that great speed that he has. He's got those nice long strides that a hurdler has and is able to get the ball up near midfield. And it's going to be 1st and 10, and Barnsville is in good field position. Let's see if they can do something with it.
Greer gets the call and gets some room. Stiff arms out of the way. Greer, good running inside the 30-yard line of Bridgeport. And this is a good Barnsville club that I think is a bit underrated by a lot of people. They have lost one ball game this year to John Glenn, which is 4-1 and in the playoff hunt up in class. And here it is, Coach.
I tell you, I was the fullback doing the trapping on the defensive end for Barnsville there. A little misdirection, fake of the flip one way, and then coming back with a hand back, and a great block that time by fullback number 26, Travis Brown.
That is Travis Brown, and Brown gets good yardage inside the 20 and down at about the 18-yard line, a gain of 6, maybe 7.
Yeah, that Barnsville offensive line is coming off the ball, doing a nice job on this possession. Right there, you can see Brown makes a nice cutback right here, breaks through a tackle attempt by Boder, and is able to drag a tackler with him. That's number 25 from Bridgeport, Chaz Melko.
Tim Woolard also made a nice block on that play. 21-6 in favor of the Bulldogs. We get a timeout as we go down to Don Sloan.
Fellas, Barnsville's down on Bridgeport's 20-yard line, score 21-6. Now, this is a big possession for them. If they can come in and score, they're within 1 touchdown. And remember, they defer to the second half, so they'll get the football to start the second half.
Always an important factor when you're trying to get the momentum swing back in your favor. And there's Dave Kovalik. What a brilliant job he did in 1992 with the Shamrocks, taking them all the way to the state semifinals in what was an absolutely magnificent ride for the Barnsville fans there. Thank you very much. And the Barnsville Shamrocks that year were finally upended by a school now defunct, the Cincinnati Academy of Physical Education. And I don't think too many surgeons graduated from Cape. The Bill Cowher Show, Sunday morning at 11:30. As a matter of fact, later this morning, you will get to see Cowher and his preview of this. Houston at Pittsburgh. It all starts at 12 noon with the NFL on NBC. 2nd down and 4. Shamrocks at the Bridgeport 18-yard line. Travis Brown to the 10 and a 1st down.
And I'll tell you, great blocking again by those inside people from Barnsville. Dennis Morris, Tim Hans.
There you can see
there it
Brown.
Is right here. Good push by that whole offensive line. Number 72, that's Tim Groves doing a great job. Tim Woolard, the offensive center, also doing a great job inside.
Both teams have some good, tough backs. And you're going to have to gang tackle a lot of people with the ball in their hands tonight both ways. 1st down at the 13. I think that it's imperative that Barnsville cram this in. Greer lost the football, and the Dogs recover. The first big break of the game in terms of a turnover. And Bridgeport has thwarted this effort by Barnsville to get back into this ball game.
There's the power pitch this way, and watch him just blow right by here. But
somebody
number 4,
got a hand in there, and that was
4,
Whitmore.
Whitmore just stripped it away from him and looked like he may have scored. But Whitmore got a hand in there, stripped the ball away. He's carrying the ball in the proper hand, the outside arm, but just not squeezing it hard enough. And what a bad break for the Barnsville team.
Good heavens, what was that on camera there a moment ago? 1st down Bridgeport at their own 10-yard line. Whitmore gets the call, short yardage.
Now Bridgeport has to be real careful here not to make the same mistake that Barnsville did by giving the ball up. Coach Goodrich, I'm sure, is thinking about that and telling the kids to take care of the football right here. And they're down there where a fumble could really be very bad and disastrous for the Bridgeport team. There's only about under 2 minutes left in the half, and I'm sure that they're going to just keep on trying to run as much time off the clock as they can here. Inside trap.
But the type of offenses these teams run, we're going through this first half at warp speed, and that's the one thing that Bridgeport, again, the one thing they'll do to a lot of teams, they'll run the ball, they'll get the lead, and then all of a sudden, time just starts running out on you. I mean, it's a very short ball game when you play these guys because the incomplete passes are few and far between.
Right there, they had a trap going from right to left, and number 51, Tim Hans from Barnsville, played it very well, closed down to the inside very well, and held it to a real short gain, and immediately Barnsville calls timeout with 1:29